And we're live.
Yes,
Hello,
we are.
my name is Gurps Chima. I'm a comedian, and this is
Ethan McKinley.
Welcome to the Comedy Garage.
GURPS, I've had some thoughts. Comedy Garage. There are so many comedy garages on YouTube, I feel we may get lost in the cross streams of time. I know for a fact there is a comedy garage, which is like a Bollywood/comedy Asian YouTube channel.
Duh. Why do you think I'm here?
That's also your channel. We've got a few subjects to talk about today.
Loads of subjects.
The first one you're bringing to the table is public shaming, right?
Public shaming, yes.
What else have you got for us today, GURPS?
That's about it, really.
That's about it. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, have you ever
mate.
been publicly shamed?
I have not.
You have not.
Why would I be? I'm 12.
Every time you do stand-up and you're telling me you've never been publicly shamed. How dare you?
All the bombings. That's me being up there and talking is public shaming
I have
to
been
my
publicly
family.
shamed many times.
Have you really? Have you really been?
Yes. We'll tell a quick story. I broke up my girlfriend a year and 1 month ago now. It culminated with me the previous year getting her a job at the company I worked for. And then I think her shagging my boss, who then... Because I went to the staff Christmas party after her being weird for 3 months leading up to that point. When I got to the staff Christmas party...
Had you already broken up at that point?
I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
She just said she needed some time and a break. Now, usually when a girl says that, viewers, for those that don't know, because they're young, whenever a girl says that, it's because they haven't got the fucking cojones to actually break up with you, because there's not really any good reason. Also, another thing girls do, not bashing girls, they're lovely, but I think they try and build a narrative in their head to justify their actions.
Okay.
So all the things that they liked about you initially, that you were funny, charming... all those things now your virtues become sins, basically. So she started getting weird leading up to Christmas. Then I went to the Christmas staff party. I've not really seen her for a couple of months and her not wanting to speak to me. Don't know why, but I know girls do this sometimes, so I kind of accepted what was happening. As soon as I get to the staff party, GURPS, she comes out of the disabled toilets. As I walk in, it was like the gods had kind of made this moment. It was such a record scratch moment in time. I see her come out of the toilet. I don't really acknowledge her because she doesn't want to speak to me. And then from behind her, comes our boss, basically. And they were both clearly on cocaine.
Plot twist. She's fucking the boss.
Possibly. Or...
And how else do you explain that?
Well, at that point, I was walked out of the party by the managers going, you have to leave, you're upsetting... her name is now deleted from this story. And I was like, why? What's going on? We haven't really spoken, I know, but what? Could you tell me what's going on? They went, just need to leave, you're upsetting. I was like, okay, fine. But as I was trying to get more information, they basically walked me out with doorman from my own staff party that I've been going to for 7 years, threw me out of the party in front of 100 people. I went, what is going on? Everyone at the party was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know.
What the fuck?
I know,
So
right?
your presence is upsetting her. That's a new low. You being
I remained
there.
remarkably calm considering she was coming out of the disabled toilet with my boss of 7 years at the staff party I'd gone to for pretty much 7 years.
Fair enough.
So at that point I think, well, I guess we're broken up. So I think I should go to the house and collect my stuff. At this point, for 3 months, I've been negotiating to get my stuff back. She wouldn't ever give it back. So I thought, this is my only chance. My Mac plug is at the house, which is like worth 80 quid or whatever, or 90 quid, £89. That's one of the things. So I get on the bike. I do that for I have to get the train back to Birmingham. That's where I've been forced to live now, to having an idyllic life of a Hollywood movie star in London and Los Angeles. So before I have to leave for the train, I think I'll get my stuff back from my house. So I go
Were you supposed to be in the house? Are you allowed to be there at that point?
No, even though I've got a key and I never tried to get in the house.
Did you break in then? You smashed any
Well,
windows?
kind of, but I get to the house. I knock, of course, see if anyone's in to actually assist me, and no one is. So I think, you know what? Fortune favours the bold. I'll go in the house. As soon as I set one foot in the house, I think, you know what? I shouldn't do this. Let's do things by the book. She's obviously been despondent, not been cooperative. She has got all my stuff. I'm actually standing on ground zero where my stuff is, GURPS. I'm not going to do this. This is wrong. I am breaking and entering, even though I kind of live there. But so as I'm leaving, I think, you know what? I will just get my Mac plug back. Okay, so I open the door to her room, and on the bed, ladies and gentlemen, and this is no word of a lie, and if you put this in a movie, you'd probably go, well, that's bullshit. And me even telling you now, as a viewer, I would think, you're making this up, Ethan. This happened exactly word for word. On the bed is a little red travel suitcase, and it's open, right? So I just open the door and go, huh? I need to look in the crack of the door. This suitcase is open, right? And in the suitcase, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a suitcase full of whips and chains and basically gimp outfits and sexual torture devices, which I didn't even know she owned. Next to it is my best friend slash, I guess, my ex-best friend and her new flatmate, who I recommended she move in with when the room opened up in their house. This is another girl, by the way. My friend, Mrs. X, missing name here. So her suitcase, well, her bag rather, is this like weird plastic, what is it? Like a shiny plastic backpack with spikes on it, this goth thing. And in that, dildos are sticking out of it and pussy pumps and all this other stuff. So there's 2 suitcases, one full of whips and chains, one full of dildos and pussy pumps.
Okay.
And I just like, at that point, I think any normal human being would be just blow a gasket and be upset. I just burst out laughing. I was like, oh my God. So she's obviously been either shagging the boss.
Oh my God, this is perfect material right here.
Or shagging the flatmate. I don't know. But literally, there's a bed with a suitcase open full of whips and chains and another bag open with dildos and pussy pumps in it. My mind just went out of my head. I went, okay, I understand what's happening here. I closed the door and let myself out, and then that was it.
Was that the day you became a comedian, by the way?
Yes, and we haven't spoken since, and a week later I started doing stand-up. So here we are. So that was my...
Listen, there's no topping that story.
No, you can't, and that was my public shaming, being walked out of a party I'd gone to for 7 years in front of 100 friends and well-wishers with my arm up my back by a doorman, not knowing exactly what I'd done, apart from you're upsetting the ex whose name is missing from this story. And then the next day when I get back to Birmingham, right, got the train within half an hour of that happening, got on the bike, went to the station, went back to Birmingham, and then the next day my boss of 7 years fired me via email, the very man who came out of the toilets with my, I guess now ex-girlfriend.
Hang on. In the footer, did he say, thank your girlfriend for me, or something?
He didn't
along
say
those
anything.
lines?
It was very businesslike. Then that was the end of that. The next few days was me negotiating to get my stuff back from the house, which I didn't actually do that night. I was forced to... This is public shaming number 2. I was then forced, because they said, we finish at Christmas. You can't go to her house to collect the stuff. And I said, look, she doesn't need to be there. Or you can bring a witness. I'll bring a witness to protect us both. I'll just collect the things that are mine. That's all I wanted to do. Wish I would have. I'm Mr. Calm. I'm cool. That wasn't going to happen, GURPS. Oh, no.
Okay.
What
What
they
happened?
said, because we were closing for Christmas in 2 days on December the 21st, you have to collect all the stuff from the unit, which she will bring and put in boxes. So I have to drive the next morning from 7 a.m. to London. I crashed the car under so much stress and no sleep. So the bumper's hanging off. I drive to where she works. I pull up outside. They know I'm coming. Everyone can see this.
Is everyone looking out from the window? Mm-hmm. Hang on. Was you butt naked, and was there like a lady screaming, "Shame, shame," with the bell?
No, this wasn't Game of Thrones. That would have been
darn it.
that would have been marginally less worse. I think
Okay.
walking through the town square with garbage and feces thrown at me, with my titties hanging out, would have been less embarrassing than this. So I get there, pull up, and the garage, the warehouse door opens, like that one in Indiana Jones, full of crates and boxes where they do all their business. Not going to say what their business is, but you don't need to know that anyway. A little Indian guy walks out, the guy that runs the warehouse, basically.
That was me, by the way.
He wishes. Hands me my stuff in boxes, right?
Okay.
And then I put it all in my car. As I'm about to pull away, she comes out of the office door, right?
Okay.
She jumps on me, hugs me, kisses me on the cheek, and then goes, "Don't worry, Ethan, it's not forever." And then
What the
just
fuck
goes,
is that supposed to mean?
"I don't know." And then she just goes back in the office.
That's making things worse.
I know. Why is my voice doing this?
I don't know. Man,
This is the voice I probably had in the car. I went, what's happening? I blacked out probably from the shock. But yeah, she did that. It's not forever, Ethan. She goes back in the office, the door slams, and I'm just there, like in a movie. on a 23rd of December's morn.
Was it raining?
Freezing my ass off. No.
Was it snowing?
No. But if I was holding the box, I would have done, well, at least it's not raining, to the breaking the fourth wall in the movie again. At least it's not raining, viewers.
And then it starts raining.
And then it starts raining. That didn't happen. So I get back to Birmingham, right, after that second public shaming.
And
I
then
go through all my stuff.
Okay.
And there are 3 pretty high-ticket items that are missing. There's a giant statue of Alien, H.R. Giger's Alien from 1975. Right? A boys thing. I'm a nerd, whatever. A suitcase worth about £500. One of those, actually, the cameras are actually resting on, a roadie case. And a pair of Nike Flight 45 Jordans, which are super rare. You can't get them anymore. And they're worth a fortune. So basically, £1,500 worth of my stuff was missing.
Okay.
So because I didn't just, like you said, break and enter and take all my stuff that time when I found fucking Pussy Pump Central and Whips and Chains Turnpike, I was shafted out of my thing.
I have a theory. I think they sold that stuff to buy those whip chains and shit.
Well, she said to leave her alone. She said this wouldn't be forever. But as you know, as everyone knows, you've probably heard this story on the comedy scene, and some of my audiences, that I left it 6 months, and I thought, shall I call and try and get my stuff back? I'm not going to talk about us, because that's pointless. Which I wouldn't, because I'm too old to fall for that stuff anymore. You still will go for all this, which is going to be hilarious. Because he doesn't know what it's like. So I thought, I won't call her. I left it another 6 months. I left it till Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. I sent a very nice email going, hey, it's me. When you made me... Well, it wasn't that nice. I was like... As you know, you made me come and collect my stuff from work last Christmas. I could have collected it from your house with dignity and privacy, which you didn't allow me to do. It's Christmas. Be of good cheer. It's a time of goodwill. Please, can I have my stuff back? She didn't reply to me. So I thought, you know what? Maybe all the stuff that she's blocked, I can't get through to her. So I sent her the exact same message from another phone on WhatsApp, and that was immediately blocked. So now... we know she's got £1,500 worth of my stuff.
She doesn't want to talk to you.
She doesn't want to talk to me. I don't want to talk about our situation because I know you'll never get a straight answer from a chick. They're irrational. Sorry, ladies. Bit sexist, but it's true.
Okay.
In breakups, girls are quite irrational. Men can be as well. I'm not going to say we're not. We are also crazy. But in this situation, she was being quite irrational. So...
Hashtag feminism.
What you're a young, hot young buck, GURPS. You can probably maintain, you don't have erectile dysfunction or a bad back or anything.
Yeah, I think...
I'm probably 2 years off that, but we're getting there. Okay. So you've got high testosterone. What would you have done in that public shaming? What would you have done in that situation?
That's a good question. Just like, fuck you, fucking piece of shit. I want my stuff back, man. That would be my reaction.
What would you... All right.
Via text, by the way. That's how I would speak on text.
The work Christmas do situation, you march... Let's say you work for a company that supplies internet and it rhymes with blurgin. So let's say you're working at blurgin and you're at the staff party and all of a sudden your girlfriend who works with you that you got her a job at blurgin comes out of the disabled toilets with your boss. Okay. What do you do?
I go up to her and I'm like, what the fuck? I thought you were a blurgin. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I would
Super
panic.
cuck snowflake GURPS was going to kick off at the Christmas party. I doubt it.
No, I'd be mad. Okay, you know what? That would be maddening. I wouldn't know what to do. I would just panic. And then if she got me like escorted out, I'd be like, what the fuck? Is my presence that bad that I can't be in the same rooms? I just want some free food, okay? I came here for the free food. I don't care about the other people.
Yeah.
I'm here for the food. Let me enjoy this party. Can I get
I would have flipped the buffet table if there was one.
Would you?
Yes.
Did you?
Have you ever seen a film called Trading Places?
Yes, I have.
There's a scene in that,
it's
right?
one of my favourite films.
Where the Duke brothers, for $1, decide to ruin one man's life and make another one's better. Eddie Murphy being the guy who's homeless on the streets, and they reckon they can take a homeless black man from the streets and turn him into a super sharp trader, right?
Yeah.
In so doing, they ruin the life of their top trader, Dan Aykroyd, and put him on the streets. Dan Aykroyd goes to the Works Do Christmas party, dressed as Santa, and he's stealing all the food and he's eating a salmon out of his beard and stuff. That was more akin to what happened with me.
Okay.
But you say you'd kick off and just machine gun everyone and go, oh, I want food. And tell off your boss and stuff?
Definitely.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
you're more of a man
you
than
know
I,
what?
because I
You
didn't
know
do
what?
any of that stuff.
It's funny because with me, it just comes down to food. I don't even care about the girl. I'm just like,
Well, to be fair, I think I was more in shock
oh yeah, definitely. I can imagine that.
that these people that I'd worked with for years had suddenly turned on me. So God knows what had been said about me, because I swear to God, I'm
Did they- hang
awesome.
on, did-
I'm not vicious, violent. The last
Did they
thing you'll ever
hate
see.
you though? Did they hate you whilst?
I
that-
don't think so.
I mean, you
I
can
was
tell.
loyal service, and well, this is another thing at this job that I do.
Were you being yourself?
Everyone takes drugs, everyone drinks, everyone is a complete mess sometimes at work. They cover all these other things up. There's all kinds of crazy scandals going on in the office, in the what is it, warehouse, etc.
Okay.
All kinds of shenanigans. They're a bunch of wreckhead psychopaths.
Okay.
But that makes it fun. However, I've never done any of that stuff. I'm Mr. Teetotal, Mr. Clean, Mr. Happy. Never gets upset with anything. Mr. Sunshine. You've all seen my act. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it was just the shock of being surrounded by people that you'd called friends and work colleagues for years. So God knows what they'd have been told.
Okay.
But like I said, I think sometimes when a girl wants you out of her life, they build any kind of narrative to either themselves or their
people
colleagues
around
to
them,
kind of back them up.
Yeah. That makes sense. I
So
understand.
to be so unfairly treated, then walked out. And I know people are watching and there are two sides to every story, and I absolutely agree. But I literally don't know the other side.
Let's
of
have
the
that
story.
person on. Fuck off, Ethan. We'll have someone else on. We'll see their point of view. This is an open invite.
I think
What?
because
What
I
do
refused to officially move in when she first moved to London.
Did she ask you to move in?
Yeah, and I said no.
Why not?
Initially, I didn't tell her this, but my initial feeling was, because this happened before, once you kind of put yourself in a capitulated place with a girl,
Mm-hmm.
so as in you move in with her, because this happened with a girlfriend years ago, about 12 years ago, when we lived together,
Yeah.
all fine. Then she decided she wanted to get this flat on her own, because we lived with her in a house full of 3 other people. She was like, I insist, I'm going to get this flat. She signs off on this luxury flat. So I had a choice then to stay where I was and leave her to die, sink with the ship that she just moved into, or support her and move in with her.
Okay.
Now, I think because that happened, something went off in her head where she's like, oh, God, we really kind of live on our own together now. This has become suddenly real. This isn't fun anymore. And then all of a sudden, within 4 months, it was over and I was out, and then that was it. So I lost the house I lived in and the house we lived in together. So I kind of half knew to expect this. I don't know why. And it's unfair to kind of
No, I understand that, but no, it makes sense. I see where you're coming from.
But to put yourself in a position where you give up your rights, essentially, and then you move in with her. And I also know the London effect, because this happened to me, GURPS, all those crazy rock and roll stories you've heard from me, which we may get to at some point in this series, we don't know. All those crazy stories that you know about me was all a consequence of moving to London and going a bit crazy, because I think everyone, when they first move to London, go a bit crazy. There's museums, there's nightclubs, there's exciting things, there's famous people.
It's like Birmingham, but better.
Well, it's a lot better than Birmingham.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Significantly.
less Asians for one. Cut that out. Just kidding.
I agree.
One is enough.
Wait, what? That's not true. That's not less Asians in London. What the fuck? That is...
By the
Fake
way,
news.
we already did this story, but I took so long in telling you. Like, luckily the camera messed up, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, I got a phone
You've
call.
had the truncated version of this,
Which is
but
good.
I swear on
Yay.
my life, GURPS, up to this point, apart from her wanting me to move in and me rejecting that initially, because I wanted to say which way things went.
Okay.
Because her moving in with my best friend of 10 years was also a girl. I also had my reservations about her, because I know she was a bit funny as well. So when I found those 2 suitcases, or that bag and the suitcase, I kind of half expected. I wasn't that shocked. That's why I kind of laughed, because it was so surreal anyway.
Okay.
But I think basically, because my friend of 10 years likes the ladies as well, and my girlfriend, Mrs. X, who literally is Miss X, I'm not going to say her name on here, was also, I think, a bit of a swinger. I think those two got together, or the friend...
Oh, shit, that's even worse
Or
then.
my best friend had designs on her and was slowly, like, working the strings, if you will. Because I think, like I said, she moved in I think, June or July.
Okay.
By September, they'd been on holiday in August. By September, it was all of a sudden, you can't stay here anymore. Everything has changed. She didn't say that. It was just like the weather in the relationship kind of changed to stormy all of a sudden.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
Oh, shit.
I can only assume that's the thing. The cherry on top was her coming out of the toilets with the boss, who I don't know.
She was fucking your boss.
I don't think...
And your
I don't
best
know.
friend.
I don't know. I literally don't know.
Okay. Potentially.
But that's what...
Allegedly.
That's what I'm saying. You know what you're going, well, he must have done something. I don't know. I think she either got bored, fell out of love, or she was obviously razzling one or two of those people, or maybe more. I don't know.
That is an insane story.
It is an insane story. But
Topping that, we have my story. I went to a Mexican restaurant, and I tried...
Here we go!
I tried a burrito, and I got food poisoning. Whoa, that's madness. Like, let's go back to yours now.
Well, no, I mean, that's pretty much the craziest thing I think that's happened to me. Quite harrowing.
That is mad if you think about it. But at the same time...
Luckily, like I said, I started stand-up pretty much a week after that happening, and that, I think, kind of saved my head, because I had something to do and focus on.
Was it really just a week after that?
Yeah.
Did you talk about that incident?
Well, I think I was telling her I was doing all this. I planned to do it anyway. I was going to do a course, because I didn't know to even begin with stand-up. But just to have, like, your life completely taken away, and everything, like, literally go... like ripping a tablecloth off a table and then going, how did all this happen to me? I literally don't know. And all that surreal stuff happening. And remarkably, how this has not found its way into my comedy, I just can't think of a way to make it funny. Is this a funny story? Please write in the comments if this is a funny story. If you have stayed this long for 21 minutes to...
Don't think they have, but sure. Let's give us some feedback. Okay, give him some feedback.
Give me some feedback in the comments if you can be bothered. Is this a funny story? Can I make it? Comedians, tell me, my friends. How
The
can I
only
make this
people
funny?
listening. But yes, I'd say it's a funny story. It's got potential.
You can't do it for 12 minutes, but, you know, I think you can... There's something in it. I mean, finding the bags and cases, even I laughed when that happened.
All the
And I
other
was
thing is,
there.
okay, comedy needs to be relatable. Now, you go in on stage.
Everyone's broken up with someone. Everyone's been dumped. Everyone's been cheated on.
Guess so.
Everyone's been fired from a job.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Combine
everyone,
everything.
Not everyone that's happened to in one day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously discovered there's a weird sex, Satan, devil cult she's secretly involved in with these two weird S&M suitcases. So, oh my God. How is this not a real story? Like, not a fake story? Like,
I don't know.
how is this situation not like I said, in a movie or a fiction?
It should be. It's definitely going in now. Amy Schumer's next film is going to have this story in it.
Oh my God.
Judd Apatow, get on this, because...
If it was in a Judd Apatow movie, and it was like, who's the main man in Judd Apatow films? This massive stoner, him and James...
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, yeah.
That's it.
Seth Rogen would come into the house, he'd see the two cases, he would start rating... That's Fat Albert, what are you talking about? That's Bill Cosby. He's lovely, by the way. Just kidding.
That was one time. Okay, now.
But yeah, that's my public shaming story. You've had your little Mexican restaurant
Yeah,
thing.
that wasn't really public.
I feel we've kind of imbalanced the show because I've just talked about my woes for 23 minutes. You've had some more information on public shaming than GURPS, haven't you?
Yeah, let's move on.
Maybe this should be. Maybe you put this at the start of a show, and then maybe this is the bonus bit at the back.
I think we'll just keep it that way. You know, people need to be into this, I guess. But no, public shaming, right? What we're looking into is, does that have a real impact on life? Yes.
Yes.
You lose your job, lose your income.
Well, I think now, because I think social media has become quite damaging, and they're starting to notice this,
Yeah.
that I think people now have lost the ability to communicate, and this is why people are apparently getting social anxiety. Suicide is kind of climbing slightly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Apparently there's that app that girls use to kind of make themselves look even prettier by putting cheekbones on and stuff. Those apps you all see
Snapchat.
advertised on Instagram and stuff. No, there's actual things to do Photoshop where they kind of make a girl's lips bigger and stuff. You've seen those things.
Okay.
There's 2 commercials on Instagram now. It's that thing where you kind of do a squiggly line on a still photo, and then you press a button. It's like, oh, the waves are moving, or oh, the hair's flowing on this still picture. How do they do that? Who cares? And then there's the other one where it's like a girl's face, and they go, ooh, ooh, and then she gets cheekbones. They take this 4 out of 10 and make her an 11 out of 10. It's like this quick Photoshop.
Yeah,
app
I
using
don't
on a
agree
phone.
with that.
Well, they're saying now that is actually creating depression and a lot of upset.
Yeah, when you get to see the real
Well,
thing.
you've touched on this in your comedy routine with Instagram, where the person that turns up is not, the person that's in the. You're like, oh my god, who's this girl going to meet? And then you go, oh god, it's.
What the fuck happened?
It's Ethan.
Were you
I thought I
involved
was
in an
meeting a
accident
girl.
in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, so I think that and the ability to not communicate and this weird snowflake generation, which
We do live in that snowflake generation, but
where there's this weird, well, like you said, this weird glee in ruining someone's life
the
or
question
damaging.
is that good or bad?
It's bad.
Who's to say?
John Ronson has a book out called "Say You've Been Publicly Shamed," which is a very good book about public shaming. And he covered a story of one lady, this executive in this company. She put a tweet out to just a few of her friends. She had only a few followers, maybe a couple of hundred or whatever tops, I think. She's not famous. No one knew her. She was going on a trip to Africa, and she writes in a tweet, "Just on the way to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS."
That's funny though. That is funny.
Yeah, funny. And obviously a joke. She gets on the plane. She goes all the way to Africa from New York or LA, whatever. This long flight. By the time she gets off, she's in the newspapers. Everyone's trying to kill her on Twitter. She gets fired from her job just from this silly joke. And that's one of the cases that's dealt with in this John Ronson book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. And he just goes through the various stages that people go through who are on the receiving end of it. And also, I guess, the psychology or the social psychology that's actually behind, I guess, why people take this glee. Because it's not a person. If you were talking to a person in real life, you would never talk to them that way.
Oh, no, definitely, because you feel bad. Like,
yeah.
If you see them, like, their reaction live, you're just like, oh, shit, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
online, you just feel good writing that shit. I know this sounds horrible, but if I'm, like, being horrible to someone on Twitter, that's just like, that feels good.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
I like it.
I mean, I used to do it famously all the time. I think, especially when Facebook was new, but I think as all this started happening, I used to go back and forth, not in a bad way. I used to make jokes out of people or try and
in a bad way,
be witty.
Yeah.
No, I've never tried to ruin anyone's life, and I don't think you should. And I think a lot of people that like go after, I guess, public figures, Kevin Hart being one.
Yeah. Recently, the most recent case is Kevin
It was
Hart.
like doing some I guess homophobic but obvious jokes.
Yeah,
and
over
stuff.
10 years ago. I think James Gunn had the same problem there. Like
Yeah.
James.
Well, they went after James Gunn because he was at a party. I think we discussed this on episode 1. Maybe it didn't make it into the cut. But like James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, the writer of the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and director of Slither, he went to this Vickers and Tarts party, as you'd call it in England, where everyone dresses as a priest and all the girls go dressed as schoolgirls or sluts.
Yeah.
Whatever. Obviously meant to be controversial, obviously very naughty.
That's the point of that.
Yeah, but they were just basically saying, he's a paedophile, he's this, he's that. Having said that, though, GURPS, he did make a few tweets that were a bit risque about having sex with children.
Okay, he was making joke about
Burn him, I
Catholic.
take it back.
Don't burn him. There were funny jokes over 10 years ago. In 10 years, a person changes.
They do, but I think also everyone is now so sensitive. And I think there are so many now special interest groups where everyone is special and everyone has a voice, which I think is a good thing. But
I don't think so.
I think the knock-on effect of that is now there's every kind of special interest group is now fighting to be heard or attain power. So you've got trans, which was never an issue before, and if statistically trans or intersex people are 0.1% of a population.
Okay.
I don't know this, by the way. Don't crucify me or hate me or ruin my life. But this is what I'm hearing. That it is. I mean, Buck Angel has said this. One of the most famous trans activists on the planet. My friend Buck Angel. He said it's a very small amount of the population. And I think I'll discuss it with him. And he says the rest of it is now it's become this fashion trend where every kid thinks, oh, I'm a bit confused and I'm 12 or I'm 15. They might just be gay, but now they're going to be convinced they're trans and have their cut off or they're added or God knows what.
Yeah, and once that happens, that's forever.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go back.
By the same issue, you've got groups like Black Lives Matter. What else have we got?
Okay, we're not going to let's not criticize those groups.
We're not criticising. I'm just saying now we live in more of a liberal society. Now you've got
Yeah.
every special interest group fighting for their voice to be heard. As a result of that, you now get this mob mentality. If someone says anything dissenting from the narrative, if you will. I mean, all right, let's talk about another issue, Brexit.
Okay.
There are people who are for Brexit,
And there's people
and there's
against it.
people who are against it.
That's
Now,
how democracy works, though.
the people who are against it, from what I can, as an impartial witness, the people who are against it are essentially saying the people that were for it didn't know what they were voting for or were stupid, and they keep posting posts of very working class, uneducated people saying what they think why Brexit is a good idea, or saying you're racist or this or that. And I see this a kind of mob thing from more of the left side, if you will, the Remain side.
I don't agree with that. I think it's on both sides, definitely.
I seem to see more people going after Brexiteers though versus Remain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we did vote to leave. If it was the other way around, and we were staying.
But you know what? I'll take that back because all the things we mentioned, Black Lives Matter. I think the main thing that drives it and poisons them against each other and has everyone infighting is the media.
Oh yeah, definitely. It just comes down to the media being pissed off. And
Yeah.
they want the clicks. That's what they want. They want you to go on their page, view the ad for 3 seconds, so they make money. I think it comes down to that. It's capitalism at the end of the day.
Because I think now it's either saying everyone's racist or secretly homophobic or secretly hates trans people, and you have to start, educating everyone that we should all get along. It's just like, I don't hate anyone that's gay. I've got gay friends. I don't hate anyone that's black.
Exactly.
I don't know what's real
That's not a
actual
thing.
racism.
I don't think racism is a thing nowadays. There must be some sort of racism.
I think there is to some degree in the sense that
not on a large scale.
there's that stick to your own thing, which I think is a natural thing of human psychology. Like, that's where you get Asian communities and white communities, and they don't really mix that well.
Yeah.
Not because they hate each other, like, oh, they're evil, but like, for the most part, everyone gets along. But
Exactly.
naturally, people form tribes.
Oh yeah.
So
It's like nerd. Like I was a nerd at college, and I used to hang out with those people.
But
those
when you
kids.
see all this stuff on Facebook, all this extreme, like, everyone's evil, this group's evil, you're like, where's all this happening? Like, I don't know. I'm not like that. I don't know like that.
What I don't understand about social media is it a collective or is it loads of individuals? Because it seems like there's like a group of people.
I think there's a hive mind aspect to it.
Okay.
Where, like I said about where people form tribes, you form tribes online. Everyone's trying to feel attached to a group or feel like they belong to something. And I think that's the thing that's actually unraveling multiculturalism or gay issues or trans issues or Black Lives Matter or any kind of, social justice group that you want to kind of mention.
But it could be argued that's good for society.
This show got really serious, didn't it?
It has, isn't it? Comedy Garage Maya.
But you know what? If you know Planet of the Apes, the film?
Yeah.
The original Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston from 1968, all the actors that played gorillas or the chimpanzees, this isn't racist, by the way, relax. Not going to do a racist joke. All the gorillas, the chimpanzees, and the guys playing the orangutans.
I know where this is going.
No,
Were they all black?
No.
Okay.
All the people playing them, whether they were black, Asian, white, whatever, under the makeup, didn't matter. Whenever they sat down to lunch, all the people in the orangutan makeup sat together, all the people in the chimpanzee makeup sat together, and all the people in the gorilla makeup sat together. Now, how's that for a weird social experiment? There were various actors and extras of whatever colour or creed under the makeup, didn't matter. They all sat with the group that they were made up as.
Yeah, that makes sense, though. I understand that.
But that's bonkers. Like, if that doesn't prove some kind of, like, social cohesion or tribalness, I don't know what does.
But isn't that going back to, like, our primitive selves? Like, back in the day, that would make sense. You obviously go for the people that look like you.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, how you're dressed or
Exactly,
the
but
colour
so
of your
why is
skin.
that racist if you do that?
It's not racist.
Have you heard that thing that the trans activists are saying that, like, if you don't fancy or sleep with or date a trans person, you're transphobic?
What? Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That's like a job now.
Which, by the way, I think...
I'm not transphobic, guys. It's on the list. No, I'm joking. It's not on the list. Fucking hell.
Actually, no, I've got a friend
Oh, no.
who is... I'm not going to say the religion,
Okay.
but he's one of my best friends. And he's Asian. And he
Okay.
does belong to a religion that perhaps, isn't tolerant of certain things.
Okay.
One of them, perhaps you could argue, homosexuality. And he secretly loves... he loves banging trannies.
Okay. Okay, now
He's no what? He's no.
sorry, viewers, but
And
do I
anyone
know?
watching,
hang on,
you-
do I know this person?
You don't actually know him, and that's why I'm saying it.
I must know this person. Is he also a comedian?
Nope. He's someone from my past who I've known for years, who is Asian, and like I said, perhaps belongs to an ideology or grew up in an ideology that perhaps
He's against that, but he loves it.
is
Fair.
against certain aspects of those, subcultural lifestyles. One might argue is really into trannies.
Fair enough.
Top secret, of course.
It's better than. Oh, no, I'm not gonna make that. That's a silly joke. This is being cut out, by the way.
Now you could.
It's like better than their woman.
Could
right?
you argue that because it's such a forbidden fruit, maybe that's why he's into it, or maybe he's secretly gay, or does he actually just like trans people, or I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just human taste.
He likes girls, obviously. He's straight, but
He also
he seems to have this occasional fetish for a chick with a dick.
Is that like a power move? Like you're ruling over?
Can you see the breath on this camera, by the way? It's so cold in there. That's why we're wrapped up like
Yeah,
Kurt Russell in the thing.
Jesus Christ. He hasn't paid the bills, of course. It's freezing in here. The bike is gone. We'll sell that.
Yeah, I think an Asian gang broke in and stole it. I'm just kidding!
Oh,
stuff of
shit.
racism, maybe, Ethan. Love it.
But, okay, no, actually, going back to obviously that mob boss of outraged people on social media, the problem with that is all the problems seem the same. Like, is there a difference between what Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein did?
Yes.
No,
Massive
sorry.
difference.
Is there between them and what James Gunn and Kevin Hart did?
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
because
Like,
James
doesn't look that, doesn't
James
look like-
Gunn and Kevin Hart. There used to be a saying. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this. Me and me old sayings. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Okay.
It's an old-timey saying, basically saying words don't hurt. Words are important, and you shouldn't kind of like be worried about someone's words. It's the intention behind the word.
That's true, but not this day and age.
No, not in
It
this day
comes
and
down
age,
to what
but
people interpret.
There's another.
Louis C.K., he didn't really do anything, and he lost millions.
Yes, and there's still people trying to ruin his life by recording his comedy sets and ruining any potential album or, show he could do, or Netflix
Exactly.
special he could do.
Aziz Ansari, he's a funny comedian, right? He used to be like a really big lefty. He used to be really.
Well,
lefty.
he was on a date that went wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. But the people that loved him and that put him in that place, they turned against him, and now he's doing a comedy show about him hating those people because people are too sensible nowadays.
So are you saying the left eats their own?
They do, yeah, but so does the right.
So one could argue with that theory that my mentioning of the people arguing to remain are more vitriolic, shall we say, over the Remainers on Facebook.
I don't know. Okay, just look. Okay, if you look at the history, right, this shit happens all the times. The only difference is now we live in like a social media age, the age of spin, as Dave Chappelle defines it.
Do you want to know one theory why they think it's like this now?
Why?
They think anyone up to the age of 30 are called the daycare generation. So basically, because the economics of the West changed slightly, where it was more difficult for parents then, because back in the day, 50 years ago, the guy could work
Okay.
and earn enough money to keep a house and feed a family and pay all the bills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's connected to feminism, but basically, as women wanted to kind of move out of the house and turn their back on the nuclear family, this is why the white population, obviously the birth rates alone, we're kind of dying out.
Okay.
Theoretically, this is what I've heard. Women were in the workforce then because the economics of the country's changed, or the West. So both parents then had to go out and work. That meant the children went into daycare. So they weren't getting proper attention only from a stranger, but only in a room full of other kids vying for attention.
Okay.
So because of that, as they grow up, as the theory goes, they're now these very mollycoddled, needing attention, don't understand really kind of, I guess, human parental connection. Because of that, they kind of fall apart if they see anything they don't like or hear anything they don't like, and then try and go after someone and completely ruin their life. Add social media into the mix as well, which of course creates more distance between people. And you're just looking at a screen going, who is this person? It's just a flat image on a screen. Send. Because of that disconnection from the, this two parents not being, or even when they come home from school, two of the parents aren't there yet. I was a latchkey kid because, I'm a one-parent family, but that was just from a circumstance. But I think generally they think this shift in the West becoming very weak and arguing over nothing, essentially trying to ruin people's lives over a tweet or a text or a picture from 10 years ago, within reason.
Within reason, yeah. I don't think there's any reason
not in
that.
Bill Cosby's phone, but like,
yeah, exactly.
like the James Gunn thing, the silly costume party was at. Now everyone has this. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to kind of put things in perspective and go, like I would, like, oh, he's just at a silly costume party. Like, oh my God, he's a Satanist paedophile that fucks children, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the daycare generation theory, basically.
Okay.
Obviously butchered and,
simplified.
truncated by a moron, a mouth breather like me. So disregard what I say.
Wearing a Brooklyn hat in Birmingham. Just need to point that out.
But they think that, and then of course social media coming along, which has also made things infinitely worse. Probably that's the more credible and damaging aspect of that theory, I think. Whereas it's just kids don't play out anymore. Kids don't, I never see kids on their bike playing in the streets or bicycling and stuff. Everyone's at home on the PlayStation.
That's so true. I think I was part of the very last, in my town anyway. I was raised up in Italy. I was probably the last generation to actually do that.
Yeah.
I used to go out all the time and play with my friends, go in the fields and just play with sticks and stuff. Honestly, I used to do that, like, 10, 15 years ago.
I don't know that, of course. That's just one of the theories I've read.
It
seems quite interesting.
Life is so sad. You see these kids playing on iPads.
So they're completely isolated, looking at a screen constantly.
Yeah.
And then, or they're playing Xbox at home in the room alone. They don't go out and play. They don't socialise with other children.
Exactly.
So when someone says something offensive, they go, "Oh my God!"
And they don't understand human emotion. They don't even know what inside jokes are.
Well, another part of that, I think, that daycare generation theory is they don't understand human emotion because they're not interacting with a loving parent as much as they should be.
Okay.
But the argument against that is
parents are busier nowadays.
A woman shouldn't be at home looking after the children. She should be out working, because unless you're a CEO of a company, third wave feminism says you're a failure. So the destruction of the nuclear family is one of the reasons the West is, fighting, collapsing, and all these other special interest groups are trying to, reach for power in the Game of Thrones of it all.
I don't know. It's a very strong theory, of course.
I don't know. I'm just repeating shit I heard on the internet.
I can see that it makes sense to an extent, but at the same time, I think being progressive to an extent is good. Loads of good comes out of it, but there's loads of crap and bollocks and bullshit.
There's another theory.
What's that?
The fall of nations theory.
Go for it. Shoot.
So there's the Ottoman Empire and the Roman Empire as the two main examples.
Okay.
As society becomes more liberal, it gets softer. When that happens, the testosterone levels of the men go down. Men become more feminized, and the women then take seats of position of power in politics and finance and stuff. Okay. So as things become more liberal, you get to the bread and circuses kind of aspect of things, which is like in the Roman times, before the collapse of their society, you had things like the gladiatorial arenas, like in Gladiator, with the people being thrown to lions and like gladiator fights and stuff. And the idea was keep the people distracted with, entertainment, and they won't worry about the society falling apart.
Okay.
And we're kind of in that now with kind of all these multiple forms of entertainment. And because society has become so liberal now, the West is obviously becoming weak and starting to collapse in on itself. And as a result of that, you're getting kind of a more robust patriarchal society moving in to replace. So that happened with ancient Rome, happened with the Ottoman Empire. They think that's starting to happen now with the West. Okay,
but then again, it's going to fall, but eventually it's going to rise again. It's endless.
I would
argue it's an endless cycle.
It will. So society gets weak, another stronger society moves in, takes over, and then that becomes more liberal and weak over the 200 or 300 years, but and that collapses then.
Which begs the question, who's going to be that new, stronger society that...
Well, I think saying that on this show would be quite controversial, so we won't.
Exactly. I know where this is going. I was... let's not say that on this show, but I think we can all infer it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to be the stronger...
Well, you've got political turmoil in, obviously, America now because Trump took office.
Exactly.
But
I was going to argue that, exactly, because you're saying the society is becoming a lot more leftier and, like, left-wing, I guess.
And, like, the answer to that is obviously people secretly going, well, I wouldn't vote for Trump, but then obviously doing that.
Yeah, but I think that's on social media, though. Social media doesn't really represent what's happening in the world. Like, the majority of people, they don't have a clue what's going on. They're just doing their job, getting on with it.
Well, again, about
Fuck.
Brexit, everyone I know that's not in... Because I walk a weird twilight world between... I know everyone in London. I used to live there.
Okay.
And I obviously work for companies that are employed by movie stars and very famous people and royalty. I've worked for those people.
Okay.
So I've mixed in those liberal circles, also those upper echelons of society circles.
Okay.
And also because of the breakup with the girlfriend, I was kind of flung out of that, and now I'm down here with working regular people. So for the most part that I see that are out here, generally, apart from a few comedians, everyone's kind of...
Right wing.
Well, centre-right.
Okay.
And kind of, as Brexit is that, would want to leave the EU.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas everyone in London is part of that kind of middle-class, pseudo-intellectual would think stay in Europe, be united, be super left, all that stuff.
Okay.
And what was my point I was trying to make?
People.
I was going to say, yeah, but like you said about with Trump, I think all the people on the coast, be it New York or California, the liberal sides,
Yeah.
go, we don't want Trump, he's evil, he's racist, all this other stuff. Whether that's true or not, whatever, I don't care, because it's not our country. But I think reflected in that, everyone forgets about the middle of the country of people who actually who drive snowplows and have real lives and jobs and bills to worry about, voted for Trump because of the pushback, like you said, against that super left. We need to start worrying about trans bathrooms, or this person's this, or that person should be crucified. I think the answer to that was, like you said, Trump being elected. The same way here, everyone was convinced we'd stay in Europe and then forgot there was the rest of a country going, no, we'd like to be separate from Europe.
Exactly. That's my point.
It affects us in different ways.
Exactly. That is going back to my point. If you look at social media, right, it seems like everybody's left wing nowadays. If you look on social media, right, it seems like everyone is left wing. There's an overmajority of left wing people.
And all the people who are right just shut up about it.
Exactly. They're just
but then you
getting on
see
with
the
their
results
lives.
in the real world where you get
Exactly.
Brexit and stuff, or
Yeah.
Trump getting elected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Look at us breaking the boundaries.
But yes, that was
Yes.
yes.
I'm doing my
Radio
radio voice.
Right.
If you get on that show, right, with Samo, and you go, yes, I'm literally going to drive to the studio while you're on air, break in and machine gun you.
You know what? I haven't actually. Have you
Yeah.
texted Sam about like getting a spot? Because I haven't done that yet.
I even said that.
What?
I said to Fat Theo, I was like, because he put his picture, I went, well, I've just done a spot with Samo. I went, how many new friends are you going to find? You're going, hey, how you doing? It's like, there's already one. Hey, Samo. That's funny.
Best friends forever, even though, yeah,
Yeah.
the past. Let's not talk about the past.
Let them come to you.
Exactly. That's. But then again, I'm not gonna end up on radio for a very long time if I wait for them. Although I'm gonna.
If at all, look, I think with the technology and now, the very thing we're doing here, you got too much. I mean, this is a swanky setup.
It's so good.
But you
it
don't
could
even-
be better if there's a bike behind us, but
God,
there's
Simon.
not.
You don't even need this, GURPS. You could do it with your phone for one,
I used to do it. That's what I used to do.
or you could buy a Zoom with the R6Es there, but there's an even smaller version which just gets you studio quality sound. You put it in the middle of a thing, it's just two people talking.
Okay.
This just is here because it looks kind of radio-y and the sound's a little bit better, but not really. I think radio will be there to a point, but I think you can make your own shows now. You just need to get
Exactly.
people following you.
That's the problem. But there's so many podcasts out there.
There are.
Like, too many.
Yes.
So, yeah, tough luck breaking out of that.
I think if we got into the podcasting in 2010 or 11,
We would have made it by now. Yeah.
because there weren't
definitely.
enough around, you would have been on a very small map of like big shows. Because all the kind of people that are big now, like Joe Rogan, Adam Carolla, and
Mark
YouTube
Maron,
channels,
yeah.
like God, who is it? Who am I trying to think of? Red Letter Media, talk about movies and stuff. They all started around 2011.
Yeah.
So I think that jumping off point, everyone else is now fighting. All the ones that seem to have grown up really quickly within the last couple of years are like the super right wing, not super right wing, that's wrong, but centre or centre right political commentators like Sargon of Akkad, which are again speaking, like you mentioned, to that majority that no one ever kind of says, this is how I think. So I think if you did a political show, you'd probably get lots of hits, but that just seems miserable. I wouldn't want to do that.
I mean, to an extent, that's what we do now. This is called comedians talk about public shaming and all that stuff. It is very political. I mean, I don't
And
know
once
if you-
again, one of them has a story about public shaming. To end all stories on public shaming.
Exactly. It's quite mad, but...
Caps, how did that happen? I mean, my head still spins. I mean, I've talked to you about this fucking ad infinitum, and now you're hearing it for the first time, but like, I still wake up some mornings and go, how did all that happen? How did I get fired? How did I walk into that party at just the right moment when they came out of the toilets together? And then I went to the house and went, oh, I shouldn't be here. But I just checked the door anyway. And as I did, there was a suitcase full of dildos and whips and chains on the bed.
I mean, that's got to be life's way of telling you to fuck off.
Yes, exactly.
You've had enough, mate. Just move back to Birmingham, move in with your mum. Fuck off.
But like, yeah. Like those three, it's still like, it was almost like there was some higher power, like saying that was, oh my God. It's hilarious. I just wake up and go,
It is so funny. Like, dude.
how did those three things happen in the perfect times? I could have been at that party for an hour and never even bumped into her. It was that big and that many people there. But as I walked in, she came out the toilets with the boss on coke.
Hang on, did you see you when she was walking out?
Yes.
Oh,
I walked in and she came out of that toilet and went, oh, and then she like peeled off. And then
did she maintain eye contact the whole time? That would have been funny.
No, because she was completely spangled.
Okay.
She was like, but then she obviously, we saw each other. I mean, I didn't go up to her and talk to us because I knew not to do anything. Because like, I never make a scene in public or in private. We sit down and we talk like rational human beings, or that's it. If I ever see someone trying to argue or get irate, I go, no. And then you just take
passion,
the power
that boom, buzzer. Yeah.
So she saw me and I went, oh. And I didn't like go, I just like carried on talking to the person I was talking to, but it was so weird, just that perfect moment. And then those two cases full of the sexual torture devices, just unbelievable.
Well, shall we call it a day? Shall we just wrap this podcast up?
We've done almost an hour, GURPS. We've done 51 minutes.
A 51-minute podcast, unedited. This is going on.
Is that your two? No, that's one show, is it?
That's
Okay.
one show. That's
Okay.
one 50-minute show. I mean, guys, you're all settled for the next 2 weeks. If you watched it through, like, to this moment now, if you're
The
still
first
watching,
12 minutes are gold.
No, they're not.
The rest are going to get us publicly shamed at some point, I think.
dude. It's definitely
talking
coming
about
back.
Brexit and racism. I'm talking about Brexit and racism and trans people. Like,
Yeah, true that. But I'm like backtracking though.
and by the way, if my acting career does take off, this channel's getting deleted to save us both.
I think this was okay. This was a mistake, wasn't it? Publishing that on the internet.
No, it's fine.
I think it's definitely coming back.
Put it out. See if anyone likes it. I think they were particularly interested in my horrific. Call it breakups and public shaming. There you go.
That's it. Well, thanks for
GURPS,
watching.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Follow me on Instagram at GURPSChima. You can follow him.
You can follow me on Instagram as well at EMCQ1. Not 2.
Not 2.
EMCQ1.
That states 2. I'm not changing it now. I already made the graphics. It's too late.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you do like my stories and like me talking,
You can follow him in real life. Just follow him.
just follow me. I need friends now. my life's in another city. You can find me on Questionable, which is a YouTube channel, Questionable EMCQ, where I interview people. I should start doing that again. I miss that. But yes, we shall be back. I'll be back again to see you shortly. Still a single man, still completely alone inside himself and in his own life. And I'll be sitting here with this Asian boy,
Yeah.
GURPSChima.
So we will be back in 2 weeks' time because I'll be binge watching Stranger Things.
Okay.
Season 2. I've been doing that for the past. That's why this podcast was so late.
Excellent. Well, hopefully we'll see you on
I was hoping to obviously jump into that.
NobodyMcNobodyRadio.com, whatever it is that they're all doing now. Just kidding. As well. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.